states, future and current. Oh, yeah, awesome. Thank you. So future and current positions of a firm, what they intend to do now and what they're going to do in future. But Carlos, please help me type that. I want to look at your vision statement and be sure that, there are no areas you're missing out on that. Now, when you have looked at your mission statements, your vision statement, the next thing you're probably looking at are the strategic drivers. If I'm going to look at Ifunaya's case study as an example, who are going to be the strategic drivers in Ifunaya's case? An example are the single people, her target market. She has said that her target market are strictly people who are single. So if at a point I am Ifunaya's customer and I become engaged, I automatically leave the people that she can serve. But if she thinks that I don't have to leave them, that she can also do something with me around the time I am yet to be married, this document or this process can help her figure that out. And therefore, in doing that, her mission statement will become slightly adjusted. Same with her vision statement. Another thing that can be a strategic driver for Ifunaya is most likely going to be the market or the populace or the channel where her customers can be found. If Ifunaya is going to, and I want to use an example, not to offend anyone, a place like the northern part of Nigeria. The northern part of Nigeria, typically you don't find women who are not married above the age of 26. You don't find them in large numbers, right? Most of their young ladies marry very early, and that is like a belief system that they practice with. And for the men, typically also once they're crossing into their late 20s, they are married and settled in with their spouses. This is slightly different from what you find in the eastern part of Nigeria, where the men can go on as far as in their 40s and they're unmarried, and the ladies can also, somewhere close to that bracket, still unmarried, doing their own thing, nobody is disturbing them and all of that. So if Ifunaya is going to be looking at her channels and she really wants to drive a product for her populace, if she goes to the north, do you think that she's been strategic in her planning? That is a question I'm going to leave for all of you to answer in the chat box. Thank you, Carlos. I've seen that, and I'm going to quickly skim through and use for my next example. So for the rest of you that refuse to speak, I may not be able to use your business as an example. I'm sorry. And it's okay if you don't have a business right now. But so long as you have an idea you're working on, I think it would be nice for you to speak up in this session so we can also look at a few things for you. Thank you, Oyindamola. Of course not. She's not being strategic because these people would not patronize her, right? So Carlos is saying that he's creating an enormously efficient, sustainable, and revolutionary healthcare system through innovation and application of technology. Okay, that's quite interesting. Now, let's look at, when we've looked at the strategic drivers, like the case of Ifunaya, we're now coming to critical business issues. First off, what do you think will be the issues that Ifunaya may face? I think that we may have cultural bias in our case. I may be single, and I am single, but I may not be willing to tell people openly that I'm single. Why? Because people may be quick to judge me. And because I think that they'll be quick to judge me, I may most likely not want to reveal my marital status until when prompted or even sometimes probed. So if somebody doesn't push and say, Mariam, tell us, are you seeing someone? Are you single? Do you have somebody in view? Is there somebody you're crushing on? I most likely may be quiet about it. Another thing is that when you're now trying to get my age, I'm going to feel a bit, maybe in most cases, people don't like to talk about their ages. For women, this is more peculiar. They may not want to talk about their ages, so that you don't look at them and like, oh wow, so you're 30 and you're not married. Hey, yeah, sorry, that sort of thingy. And for the guys, if they feel that they've not gotten to a certain level of financial independence, they may not be willing to talk about marriage because they will feel that they are still way behind and they don't have what it requires to even talk to a lady, much less settling down and marrying one. Is somebody in this session with me, or do we think that
yes, we are following?
Okay, so I'm not just even saying following. I'm saying, do you agree, or do you think that no? I mean, I don't agree with what Mariam is saying, because it's fine if you don't agree with my illustrations, but unfortunately, you have to agree with strategic planning, right?
I agree.
Okay, thank you. So some of the business issues that Naya would then find is, first off, openness of our customers. They may not be willing to divulge information easily, and she needs information to be able to verify. whether or not the people she wants to go and serve are people that can buy her products. That's number one. Number two is even the cultural bias around that. My mother would definitely not want to patronize Ifunaya. For her, she would rather go to a mosque or a church to pray to God and solve her daughter's problem. I hope you agree. So our mothers, especially if they belong to a certain era and educational background, may not find Ifunaya as somebody who can solve their children's problem. So that's another angle of cultural bias that may be a critical business issue for her. The next for this line of conversation is also, what is even her selling price? Because I need to first understand what it would cost me for you to help me. And remember, when it comes to things around, I want to leave being single to being in a relationship, these views are subjective. My ideal man is different from Ifunaya's ideal man. And Kingsley, on the other hand, if we're comparing our ideal men with Kingsley, he probably would just roll his eyes and say, are you guys being serious? Are you joking right now? These people don't exist. I am a guy, I can tell you that for a fact. And so it then becomes an issue of how can you solve my problem? This service give me value for my money. That's another critical business issue that if Naya is now creating her value proposition, she has to state in very clear terms what a customer will get if they drop their money for her service. Now, remember, like I said, this service will vary from person to person. So how can she draw a baseline? These are some of the things that critical planning helps you to help you to look at critical areas where your business may have issues. And as you begin to identify those issues, you will begin to look for solutions to them, right? The next is critical success factors. One of the things that strategic planning will also help you do is that as you're identifying the business issues on one hand, you're looking at the solutions on another hand, right? And as you're looking at the solutions on another hand, you're then saying, if this solution can work in this way and that way, that is my success factor. So every other problem I solve, I will, okay, no problem. Every other problem I solve, I would use this solution as a benchmark to be sure that it works. Or I would use this solution as a benchmark. If it doesn't meet up with that benchmark, then I did not give full service to the customer, or I did not totally solve the problem. So critical success factor helps you to know the minimum you have to reach in a level or production or output or service delivery or customer satisfaction or product design for you to say that I have successfully solved this problem. So if you're not able to identify critical success factors in your strategic planning, then there is a problem with that business you're trying to launch, or the market, or the product, or the service. A SWOT analysis is very simple. It's a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat table. It's just 4 tables. You can do them as separate tables. You can merge it as one table. It's like drawing a square and dividing it into 4. It tells you what are the strengths in this area of business, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. What do you do with this information? When you look at the strengths, what we are telling you to do is that use that strength to leverage how you want to get more from the industry and from the people. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on your strength. Continuously improve your strength until it becomes something we call a core competency area for you. Core competency means that for your competitors to find out how you do what you do, for your competitors to beat you at what you do, they must find out your secret. That secret are those strengths. Okay, that secret are those strengths, and those strengths are saying once you can know them, continue to build on them, continue to improve on them, you have found your core competency, you have found your niche value, you have found your secret weapon in quotes, and you can continue to amass and take your share of the market and retain your customers and continue to ensure that your product and service doesn't die out. Okay, so your weakness is telling you you're not trying in this area. You're not trying at all. You need to ensure that you step up your game. You need to solve these things. You need to come back and look at how people are doing it. How are you doing your own? How is your own different from other people in your industry or in the location that you practice or in the country where you're situated? How are other people who are doing something similar to you outside your country doing it? So areas of weakness is telling you to sit up, do something, otherwise you'll be crushed in no time. Areas of opportunities are telling you you're sleeping. You're sleeping, you're sleeping. People are cashing out in these areas. Why are you also not cashing out? Now, there are two things in opportunities when you discover them. You can choose to actively not act on an opportunity, but have your reason why. So that when anyone asks you, why are you not doing X? You can tell them and say, because I choose not to, because of X and X. Let me give a quick example. Again, in the case of Ifunaya, a lot of people are doing dating apps. A lot of people are opening dating sites. A lot of people are doing, okay, let me use those examples, dating sites and dating apps. Ifunaya can decide that she doesn't want to do dating apps and dating sites. That rather what she wants to do is to do physical hangouts, where I come to the singles meetup and I'm looking at the guy and I'm saying to myself, I don't like that he's too tall. And because of that, I'm not going to proceed. Right? And so for Ifunaya, she can say that her reason is that she doesn't want to do the very popular what I ordered versus what I got. That she wants her clients to see first off, one hand, what they are trying to purchase. And when they are not happy with that purchase, we can now move the conversation forward. But if she doesn't have a why, and she just keeps saying, I don't want dating sites, I don't want to have a dating app, then she has not been strategic in her planning. And in no time, she would not have a business anymore, much less even having a sustainable business. Okay. And the threats are asking you, what are the things that can bring you down? Know them. Two things you can do. Once you have known them, you can decide that you want to kill them so it doesn't come to disturb you. Or you can say that you want to lock them in a container and open them when you are ready or you have the power to deal with them. I'll take that again. For threats, there are two things you can do. You can either kill your threats immediately, or you can manage them by putting them in a situation where they cannot harm you until you have time to come back and deal with them appropriately.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mariam. I think Zoom will log us out now. So we
No
just have
problem.
to just go up and rejoin with the same link.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So everyone, just log off and rejoin with the same link.